going live to talk all things Simproof this morning. So, good morning. Sorry, there's a lot of technology going on. Joanne's here with me in the background.
Hello. Hello.
Oh God,
I'm here for the technology.
You're here for the technology.
God love you.
No, I have no notion what I'm doing. I have no notion what I'm doing. But listen, we said we'd go live this morning because there are loads of questions on good old Simproof. And we have just launched a 20% off Simproof as well as a free gift, which is a really cool water bottle. And the reason we wanted to do this is because hydration is really important for your gut health as well. So we always talk about fiber, 30 grams of fiber a day, ideally in your diet. Best to get it from your diet, to be honest with you, your fruit and your vegetables, nuts, seeds, pulses, legumes, all of the rest. But when you increase your fiber, and this is my own personal experience as well as talking to nutritionists and dietitians, whenever you increase your fiber, what actually happens is fiber swells in the large intestine and absorbs water. So when you don't eat enough fiber and then you suddenly introduce more fiber, you can become more constipated because it's absorbing a lot of water from the large intestine, but you haven't increased your hydration. So it's really important when you increase fiber intake to increase in parallel your hydration as well. And that's why we said we would do a free water bottle, because hydration is really important for your gut health. Does that make sense? So we said we'd answer all of your questions. The number one question is, what makes Simproof different to any other product? And simply, it is a delivery system of these bacteria. There's 4 bacteria in Simproof, and they are live and active. They're in a water-based solution. And that's what makes it very, very different to anything else. Because these bacteria are suspended in water, and it's an acidic pH in Simproof, the bacteria are used to live in an acid environment, because the big thing about any gut health supplement is it has to get the bacteria into the large intestine. That's where the bacteria work. That's where they do all of the magic that they do. So that's where your 95% of your microbiome actually is. So in order to get there, they have to get all the way through your stomach, through your small intestine and into your large intestine. And your stomach is an organ that produces acid. The acid breaks down food, helps you to digest your food, but it also kills pathogens. So any bacteria that you might be taking, say, in contaminated water or in any other way. So your stomach is there to produce a lot of acid. And very often things don't survive the stomach as a result of that. But what makes Simproof different is that they have used a particular technology in order to get the bacteria to stay alive in this product and to survive the stomach environment and to get into the large intestine, if that makes sense. So as long as you take your shot of Simproof first thing in the morning, 10 minutes before any food or drink, because when you eat anything, or even if you drink a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, what actually happens is your stomach starts to produce acid. So you don't want any more acid than is already in your stomach to be produced. And that's why we always say 10 minutes before any other food or drink. And that enables really the majority of the bacteria in Simproof to pass all the way through your stomach and into your large intestines, if that makes sense.
So we have questions just about that 10-minute the 10-minute rule.
Yes.
Can you wait longer than 10 minutes?
You can wait longer than 10 minutes. It's absolutely no problem at all. You can go to your gym class, you can do whatever you've got to do. It's just as long as you wait at least 10 minutes.
So get up in the morning, have your Simproof very first thing,
Yep.
Go off, have your shower, do your bits.
You need
to do.
and then have your breakfast.
And then have your breakfast.
Yeah.
Whatever time you normally would.
As long as it's at least 10 minutes. And you can drink water. We often get asked that as well. What about water? Water doesn't stimulate your stomach to produce acid. So yeah, you can drink water.
And what about other supplements? If you're taking other supplements?
No, you wait 10 minutes before any other supplements or anything like that. Yeah, so got to wait the 10 minutes for that. Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, the second most common question is about children, because a lot of children, it's just the way that life is today. There's not as much fiber in their diets, or even probably a lot more processed foods. So a lot of children have problems, gut problems. Constipation would be the number one thing. And we see this time and time again where children are on the likes of Movicol or other products in order to get their little bowels to work. So for children, Simproof is completely safe. But all you have to do is change the dose. So you weigh your child and give 1 ml per kilogram weight. And the same rules apply 10 minutes before any food or drink in the morning time. I always recommend the strawberry flavour for children because it's less sharp. It's more creamy in flavour. And all you do is weigh your child. Say your child is 30 kilograms, then it's 30 mils, 35 kilograms, 35 mils, and so on and so forth. So you adapt the dose depending on your child. And you give it first thing in the morning. So basically, shot of Simproof, you weigh it out, measure it. It doesn't have to be absolutely exact. You can give a little bit more, you can give a little bit less, but shot first thing, just like that, and just down the hatch. That's it.
Straight out of the fridge in the morning.
Yeah, and you keep
down the hatch.
just like that. I already had one. People ask me why do I take sometimes a double shot if I'm feeling really, really tired. But the big thing about Simproof is it helps to break down food, complex carbohydrates, and release energy from food. So it improves your digestion. Most people, if you look at our reviews on our website, will say energy is the first thing that they see and reduce bloating. So Simproof, these 4 bacteria that are in Simproof are lactate-producing bacteria. Why that is important is lactate is the food substance that feeds your commensal bacteria. So we all have good and bad bacteria already in our gut. What you're really trying to do is improve the good bacteria and reduce the bad bacteria. So it's all about finely tuning that balance. So these are lactate-producing bacteria. And what that means is that lactate that is produced whenever these start to grow in your large intestine, that lactate feeds your commensal bacteria and gets them to grow and flourish as well. So it's actually not just about the 4 bacteria in Simproof. Simproof will also get your commensal bacteria already in your gut to grow and flourish. And that's why it works so quickly. It's not a transient gut supplement that we would often see once you take it out, that it starts to, your microbiome starts to decline again. Because this actually stimulates the growth of your good bacteria already in your gut, that's why it tends to work so fast.
So we have a question here.
Yeah.
When taking medicines like thyroid medications,
yeah.
At what stage do you take that?
Always take your Simproof first. People take sometimes Altroxin, sometimes people take something first thing in the morning that they're taking on an empty tummy anyway. Honestly, I always say take your Simproof first, and then after that take your medication or supplements or anything else, because even though the tablets are quite small, what actually happens is that they can still stimulate the production of acid. So yeah, Simproof is recognized by your body as if it's water, because it is 99% water with these little bacteria suspended in it. So your stomach recognizes it as water, and that's why it doesn't produce acid as a result of it, and therefore that's why the bacteria survive and get into the large intestines. The other question is it safe to take in pregnancy and breastfeeding? Yes, it is. These bacteria normally occur in your gut, if that makes sense. So they're naturally occurring. So it's not like you're taking something into your system that wouldn't ordinarily be there. So as a result of that, it's completely safe in pregnancy and breastfeeding. And it's regarded to be a food supplement rather than a medicine. It's not a medicine. And in terms of interactions with other medications, it doesn't interact with anything. But I always say, when it comes to oncology, if you're going through cancer treatment or you're on a chemotherapy regime, to just check with your oncology team first, just to make sure, because they tend to want you to not be on absolutely anything at all to interfere. So 9 out of 10 times, I would always say, just check with your oncologist. Many oncologists say it's absolutely fine to take, but you should always check with them first. Any other questions?
Is there any medicines? So all medicines are okay to take alongside?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you'd wait the 10 minutes as normal.
Yeah.
After, what if you have to take your medicine on an empty stomach? Would you consider Simproof being something that would fill your stomach?
No, it doesn't, because it's recognised as water, and within 10 minutes, we know from the clinical studies, all of this has been done by a team called ProDigest in Belgium. Within 10 minutes, it's actually out the other side. So your stomach is as if it was first thing in the morning, completely empty again. So that's why it's fine just to take your medicines that would ordinarily be taken on an empty stomach at that point, because your stomach is essentially empty again. Does that make sense?
And why is it important to take the 12 weeks?
So we know all of the clinical studies have been done over 12 weeks, and we know how we know this is basically they measure a product, a short chain fatty acid, that is produced as a result of improving your microbiome is called butyrate. So butyrate, acetate, and propionate are short-chain fatty acids that are produced by your microbiome, by your good bacteria. So when they flourish and grow, you get more of these short-chain fatty acids being produced. And they're really important because they're anti-inflammatory in nature, they're healing, they heal up the gut wall. That's why we know that actually, you know, for things like leaky gut and the likes, Simproof can work really well. Butyrate, if you were to put it onto a petri dish of epithelial gut well cells and you were to slit that, you know, those cells with, say, a scalpel and drop butyrate onto it, the butyrate allows the epithelial cells to actually come together again and to seal up. So butyrate is incredibly healing. It's very anti-inflammatory. All of these short-chain fatty acids are really important chemicals, compounds in our body for healing and anti-inflammatory effects. So what we know is after the 12 weeks, the levels of butyrate start to level off. And that's why we always say 12 weeks so that you can get to an optimal level of that butyrate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why we give the free box to encourage customers to
finish out the 12 weeks. That's what Simproof said. You commit to 8 weeks, we'll give you the last 4 weeks for free. So in order to see the maximum benefits. So the big thing is consistency. Taking it every single morning, taking it on an empty stomach if you are going to invest in this, and also to really look at your hydration and also your fiber intake, because fiber is a prebiotic rather than a probiotic. Prebiotics are basically food substances that feed the bacteria in your gut because they need fiber in order to grow and to survive and to multiply. So the more fiber that you feed them, the better, the quicker they're going to grow. So very often people say to me, oh gosh, I'm on it 4 weeks, I'm not noticing any difference. Whenever I look at their food diary and I always ask them to send me what are you eating day to day, I would say 90% of us are not eating enough fiber. Fiber is super, super, super important. So increasing your fiber intake up to 30 grams, and like there's a really good product called Silly-Flor. It's produced by an Irish pharmacist. It's a good way to actually increase your fiber intake if you're not great at eating fruit and vegetables, because a lot of people don't eat a lot. And I always say, keep the skin on your fruit and vegetables. Obviously not a banana, but even
or a kiwi. You eat the skin of your kiwi.
No,
I draw the line there. I draw the line and take my Silly-Flor. So the Silly-Flor, then, can you just explain that to us? Because that is
basically,
if you're not getting enough fiber, you'd see more side effects. Would you?
Sometimes people say, oh, I have a lot of gurgling, or sometimes cramping, or even a lot of belching. If you can increase your fiber intake, you will see that those kind of side effects actually decrease, or even cut down the dose of Simproof for a few days until your body just gets used to it, because you're really just topping up bacteria that's not normal to have in there. Your body, it doesn't recognize it. So cut it down or increase your fiber intake, and those side effects will definitely decrease. Yeah.
And one of the common things we would see is people stopping taking their Simproof and not finishing out the 12 weeks.
See it out to the end. That's when you're going to see the maximum effects of it. Increase the fiber intake to 30 grams. It'll work much faster that way. And make sure you're drinking at least 2 liters of water a day. If you exercise, then you need to eat drink even more than that. So that's why we wanted to give, I suppose, a free gift that was relevant, if that makes sense. So a lovely water bottle. It's kind of like the Chili's one. It's a really substantial one. Free with the 12-week program, and it's available in our stores, Mars Pharmacy stores, and also online as well. Yeah. Any other questions, Jojo?
How long is the offer on for?
until Cyber Monday. Yeah.
So we're 20%.
20% off, plus the water bottle is free with the 12 week.